In life, many of us spend our days looking at what others have, while forgetting to look at what is already in our own hands. We often find ourselves caught in a cycle of wanting more, thinking that the next big achievement or the next luxury will finally bring us the peace we crave. But there is a quiet truth that many people discover only after it is too late. Happiness does not come from having everything, but from being thankful for the little things that we often take for granted. This is a story about a young man named Elias who learned this lesson in a way he never expected. Elias lived in a small, dusty town where everyone knew each other's names. He was a hard-working young man, but his heart was heavy with a constant sense of dissatisfaction. Every morning, as he walked to his job at a local grocery store, he would watch the expensive cars drive by, heading toward the big city. He would look at his worn-out shoes and sigh, feeling that life was being unfair to him. He felt trapped in a life of simplicity, while the rest of the world seemed to be moving toward something greater. To Elias, his life was a series of endless, boring repetitions. He had enough to eat, a roof over his head, and a family that loved him, but none of that seemed to matter, because it wasn't what he truly wanted. He wanted wealth, he wanted status, and more than anything, he wanted to be noticed. The struggle inside Elias grew every day. He began to resent his work and even his friends. When his mother would cook a simple meal of rice and vegetables, he would eat in silence, thinking about the fancy restaurants he saw in magazines. He felt like he was falling behind, and that fear turned into a quiet bitterness. He started to believe that the world owed him something more. One rainy afternoon, while Elias was feeling particularly low, an old man named Mr. Holloway entered the shop. Mr. Holloway was known in the town for being someone who had once been very successful, but had lost everything in a fire many years ago. Now he lived in a tiny room and spent most of his time sitting on a park bench watching the birds. Elias looked at the old man and felt a surge of frustration. He thought to himself, how can this man be so calm when he has nothing? Mr. Holloway walked up to the counter to buy a single loaf of bread. As Elias handed him the change, he couldn't help but speak his mind. He asked the old man how he could walk around with a smile on his face when his life was so empty. He told Mr. Holloway that he felt like he was wasting his youth in this small town, working for pennies while others had everything. Elias expected the old man to agree or perhaps offer a word of pity. Instead, Mr. Holloway simply looked at him with kind, tired eyes and asked Elias if he could see the rain falling outside the window. Elias nodded, confused. The old man then asked if he could feel the strength in his own arms as he lifted the heavy crates of fruit. Again, Elias nodded. Mr. Holloway smiled and said that some people spend their whole lives waiting for the sun to shine, while others learn how to dance in the rain. Elias didn't understand. He felt like the old man was just trying to justify his own poverty. For the next few days, the words bothered him. He grew more irritable. He felt like he was right and the world was wrong. The tension reached a breaking point when Elias decided he would leave the town and seek his fortune elsewhere without telling his family. He packed a small bag and headed toward the train station in the middle of the night. But as he walked through the dark, empty streets, he tripped over a loose stone and fell hard. For hours, he sat there in the dark. No cars passed by. No one heard his calls for help. In that moment of pain and isolation, fear began to replace his anger. He realized how vulnerable he truly was. He started to think about his mother's warm kitchen, the soft bed he had complained about, and the friends he had pushed away. He realized that if he disappeared that night, the things he had spent so much time hating would be the only things he truly missed. Just as the sun began to rise, he saw a familiar figure walking down the street. It was Mr. Holloway, out for his early morning walk. The old man didn't say a word about Elias's bag or his plan to run away. He simply sat down on the ground next to him and offered his shoulder. As they sat there, waiting for the town to wake up so they could get help, Mr. Holloway told Elias a story about a king who had everything but couldn't sleep because he was afraid of losing it. He compared that king to a beggar who had nothing but slept soundly because he knew he had the sky and the wind. The twist in the story wasn't that the beggar became rich, but that the king eventually gave everything away just to find the peace the beggar had. Elias realized that his weakness wasn't his lack of money, but his lack of perspective. He had been so focused on what was missing that he had become blind to what was present. He saw that kindness isn't just something you give to others, but something you must give to yourself by acknowledging your own blessings. When he finally returned home, his ankle healed, but his heart had changed even more. He began to see the grocery store not as a prison, but as a place where he could help his neighbors. He saw the simple meals as a gift of love from his mother. He learned that contentment isn't about having the best of everything, but about making the best of everything you have. This realization brought a peace to Elias that no amount of money could ever buy. He understood that our lives are made of small moments, and if we wait for the big ones to be happy, we miss out on the beauty of being alive. Kindness starts with a grateful heart, and once you are content with who you are, the world around you begins to change. We often think we need more to be happy, but sometimes all we need is to change the way we look at what we already have. If this story touched your heart today, please consider liking this video and sharing it with someone who might need to hear this message. We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments about a small thing you are thankful for today. Thank you for watching, and may you find peace in the simple things.